Mining, a passive business where you can make a lot of money. All the future miner has to do is invest in the equipment, assemble it, and expect profit. But is it really that simple? What difficulties can arise over time? How was it before? How far advanced is mining in 2023? Hi everyone, here's Liquid Mining, my name is Yevgenij, and today I will show you the difference between mining of the past and the present. We'll assemble the mining rig and discuss most of the problems miners have when assembling, deploying, and the future work. Sit back comfortably and we will begin. We have prepared all the components that we will need when building a GPU mining rig. First of all, the selection of components is important. It is necessary for everything to work properly. Motherboard. All we need from the motherboard is to have the right number of PCI slots. If we wanna build a rig with 6 cards, then there should be 6 slots. In our case, everything meets the requirements. Processor. You don't need a powerful processor for mining rig. It's enough that it supports the operating system. In our case, it's AMD Athlon 3000G. The processor suits us, so does the socket. Let's install it. Thermal paste. You need the most common thermal paste that will fit. You don't need to make anything up. Our processor won't get too hot. In our case, it's deep cool. Let's put it on our processor. It's very important to apply a thin layer of thermal paste, because when we will put a cooler on top, the excess will squeeze out anyway. And the most extra layer we put on, the more paste we will see on the socket around it. This is not desirable to do. Radiator with the cooler for the processor. Almost any cooler will do for a mining rig. You can choose a pretty one with RGB lighting, but that's if you like it. Any cooler will do for us. Let's install it. Operating memory. Operating memory. It is very important that it fits the motherboard. If you have a DD3 card and the motherboard has a DD4 slot, you can just install it. In our case, it's a DD4 4GB, which is enough for mining rig. That is the smallest size possible. Install it. Power supplies. We need them to power the whole system. If we don't calculate the consumption of the whole system and take 2 weak power supplies, rig will not work. In our case, we need 2 power supplies, both 850 watts, they fit us, so let's install them. The power supplies we installed, and you see a lot of wires that are not involved in the rig. It is best to tie them together so they do not get in the way, do not get stuck anywhere, and so just static beauty, and so that the rig doesn't look like a cyber monster. So, let's power up our motherboard and we can move on. Synchronizer. This is necessary thing so that the 2 power supplies can start at the same time. Since we have 2 power supplies to power the whole system, the synchronizer is necessary, then the installation itself starts. The second one, which is not the main one, also starts together with the first one. Of course, you can do with the popular, well-known methods, that is to take a paper clip, close the contact, but it's not safe and not our case. It doesn't suit us, so install the synchronizer. SSD drive. SSD, we need to write on it the programs, miners, the necessary software to make your rig work properly. But before we install it, We need to put on the programs that will participate in the work of the farm. Also the software. There are different ones, highways, railways, whichever you like best. Let's install the software. Well, everything is ready, the software is installed, the miners are installed, everything we need is already on SSD. This is essentially the brain of our rig. Let's put it in. Let's power our motherboard from the main power supply, also power the synchronizer. Riser connections, or simple risers. They are necessary for a mining rig to basically install 6 or more video cards into a motherboard, where they are simply not 6 cards physically side by side, which is what they are essentially for. They give us a number of advantages in installing the graphic cards themselves. We can put them where we want, and it allows better airflow to the card themselves. Razors are consumables, because simply very often burns, so always when we put or buy razors should have in stock 1 or 2 or 3 just in case. They can burn out for various reasons. Is it temperature, is the card leaking, or is factory defect. In our case we have 5 cards but 6 razors. Let's install them. Connectors. Let's connect our razors to the motherboard and power them up. Well, it's time for video cards. Mining rig were built on a variety of cards, starting with AMD's publisher, which were built on 470, 570, 580, RX 5600 XT cards. This is their cards are red. Green cards from Nvidia. Cards starting from 1050 Ti, 2060, 3070, 3060 and 4090. This is a lot of different variation on cards. Accordingly, depending on what card we have depends on what block you put in a rig. If the 4090 needs blocks of large size. In our case it's 3060 Ti. We have 5 cards in the assembly. The power supplies we put are exactly what we need to give the video cards. So let's install them. The power surge protector. It's very important to choose the surge protector responsibly and with the proper attention, because if you buy a cheap one or from a little known brand, it can simply burn out at the first startup. We didn't skimp here, so we install it. Well, the rig is assembled and ready to perform the combat mission. One of the most important questions now is where to place it. The room must be ventable, temperature must be appropriate. It must also have internet access. Fire protection system which will allow our rig to work and not to worry that it can burn, and who knows what else can happen to it. Such facilities we may have data centers, specialized places which require payment for accommodation, for electricity, but they give proper maintenance to our rig. That's it, they regularly look after it, clean unfortunately not everywhere, so you have to choose a place where people perform their duties in a good faith. So, it often happens that just no one take care about the rig, it gets covered with the dust and there are some problems with it. This is very important because your rig needs to work 24 hours to perform its function and pay for itself completely, because the costs are high, it consumes electricity and you have to pay money for it all. It also worth remembering about the noise that the rig exudes. If you wanna put it in your house, in a room, maybe on a balcony. It's noisy anyway, like a plane standing in your house, and you'll forget what silence is. It's not a joke, it really is. It's also necessary to monitor the operation of the rig, and be able to configure the rig to work at the software level. Choose of coins so that this algorithm fits your equipment, accelerating your hardware, operating system which is paid for, mining pool to which you connect to work. There are many of them and you decide which one to connect to. Commands you enter to configure the installation to work at pool. Switch to other coins where you have to repeat this operation again. I think first-time miners and those who are about to start is already a bit confused. But this is really what those who mine the old-fashioned way didn't do. I'd like to see your face when you find out all this could have been avoided. The year 2023 just outside the window. Almost everything can be done over the phone. Order food, order a cab, carpooling, order train or plane tickets, to make a bank transfer. Mining. Cloud mining is currently the most convenient and low-cost way to mine cryptocurrency. You avoid all the problems from the selection of components to the tracking of equipment. And most importantly, the investment is much lower. You only pay for the equipment and electricity, that's it. Your rig runs continuously and smoothly. Switching to another coin is a couple of clicks away. No overclocking, tuning or monitoring. Everything is done for you by data center specialists where the rig based and which gives hash rate in accordance with your components. You steadily get your coins and the whole process is not more complicated than playing on your phone. You get all this with liquid mining. I think rig assembly is the thing of the past. Join liquid mining and you'll find that mining is easy. I'll see you later, but in the meantime, I'll switch to another coin.